Big Jon, what's going
F-
on?
FG, what's up?
I'm excited to be here.
Hey, another Tuesday, another What's the Play? Gotta do what we gotta do. I'm
One night,
very excited today.
yes, 196, a step closer to 200. 200 is
Tip from
coming.
200. My grades, my cards are all my first two December orders are back from PSA.
There we go.
Not happy, but happy.
We can dive into that. We can dive into that. But tonight we have a great guest on. I can't wait to hear her thoughts and opinions about many different subjects. I had the chance of meeting her at the West Coast Car Show last August, and we had great conversation there. So I've thought for a while that she would be a great guest here, very knowledgeable, and dives into some areas that I don't dive in as much. And that's why I really respect her opinion and thoughts on stuff. And I think it's going to be a great situation here. So we got Lainey Darth Mom coming through. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Man, I think you're on mute.
Oh, wait. Am I on mute?
No, I hear her. I hear her.
It's you. It's not
I
me.
can't hear.
I hear her. Do you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear her loud and clear.
I hear her?
Yeah.
Do you hear me? I hear you, yes.
I can hear you, but you say something now.
Okay. I'll say something.
I hear you, Lainey. No problem.
And I can't hear her from the what's name. It's very technical difficulties 2 weeks in a row again.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? We'll
figure this out.
Let's see.
There you go. Now I hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I don't know.
Sometimes I think it's my technology.
But you can definitely hear her. No problem.
Yes, I hear now.
Okay, we'll blame the internet. That's what it's for.
There we go.
Oh, be like me. I just blame Kanye.
That works too. That works too.
It's pretty legit right there, man. It's pretty legit. So, Lainey, tell us about your background. I'm gonna throw you a question that probably we always talk about origin stories here.
Okay.
How did you get started in the hobby and get introduced to any form of cards?
Oh, well, as we were talking about a little bit before the show, I'm going to show my age a little bit. Probably my introduction to the hobby was series 1 of Garbage Pail Kids. I would go after school with some of my neighbor friends, my neighbor buddies, and we would walk down to the local convenience store with, whatever, $5 or so, probably even less than that because it was cheaper then. We would buy a pack of Garbage Pail Kids, a piece of candy, and a Jolt soda to drink.
I remember Jolt.
Yep. And then we started opening the packs, trading, completing sets. I had complete series through series 6 by the time I went to middle school, and then decided I guess I was too mature for that. And gave my entire collection to my buddy, Dan. If you're out there, Dan, I hope you still have them. Hope your mom didn't throw them away. But yeah, my entire set. And then a long time, passed, go on, have a family. During the pandemic, my daughter was already into Pokemon. And, we were just trying to find some because she wanted to, she had started watching some of the, pack openings and stuff on YouTube. And so we wanted to do that and have fun. And that kind of really got me back into it. And then one day I was at Target looking for Pokemon cards and found a blaster of Star Wars battle plans. And I was like, what? They still make Star Wars cards? I didn't know they still made Star Wars cards. So I bought that. And then that kind of led me into a rabbit hole of getting back into the hobby, of understanding where, cards are now. Like a lot of people, I went crazy and collected everything and, opened a bunch of stuff. And then, now I'm in the refinement phase of my collecting journey.
So am I. I think about that too. It's funny how things start shifting.
Yeah, for sure. And I never used to like baseball. or really, I mean, I like going to baseball games and watching the game and, having a hot dog and a beer and whatever.
Mhm.
But then I was like, I would look at baseball cards when I go to shows and I was like, these are just really beautiful. I would see some older sets and I was like, man, but I don't know anything about baseball really other than, and then we had moved here and, I was getting to know the Dodgers and everything. Um, and then I watched the Ken Burns documentary on baseball,
Nice.
all 12 hours. And then I fell in love with baseball. I fell in love with the nuances of baseball. Still don't understand all the stats. So don't ask me about WAR and, which I know is wins over replacement, but don't ask me how they get that to that calculation because it doesn't make sense to me. And OPS and all those things. But and so now I have just a greater appreciation. I watch the games avidly. It doesn't even have to be the Dodgers. I've been watching the World Baseball Classic, and now I just appreciate good baseball. And so it makes collecting baseball that much more fun for me.
It does. Listen, I don't understand. I think WAR is probably the most overrated stat in baseball.
I agree.
That and slugging percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the hill I die on with that.
I'm just like, how fast are they? How many home runs are they? I mean, I don't get. I mean, but it amazes me how much math is involved in baseball. So in baseball statistics, it's crazy.
But I remember a time, and I'm not even that old, where if you had your RBIs were right and your batting average was right and your strikeouts were low, no one talked about WAR. It wasn't even a real stat. So I mean, there have been things created on top of other things created to get to where we are now. But do I think about that when I look at a player? No. But many do.
I don't think about it. I mean, I watch. I think about, are they fun to watch? I lean into personalities and stuff as well, not just performance on the field, but like how they interact with players and how they interact with the game. Mm-hmm. And so, like, spoiler alert, Mookie Betts is my favorite baseball player because he has such a love and joy for the game itself. Mm-hmm. And it's not only just, I mean, it's his craft, but he brings joy to it. And I keyed in on that during the pandemic and watching those games. I was just like, he's got a joy for the game. And I feel the same way about Julio Rodriguez and Ellie De La Cruz and definitely Shohei Ohtani. And I could, we can go and name it, but people who not only are really good at it, but have fun doing it. And I really love to see that in players. And so I will collect those players. Sometimes I'll collect a player based just on personality. So, you have to appreciate that as well.
I've been saying for years that Mookie was a better baseball player than Mike Trout, and everybody looks at me crazy when I say that. But I love Mookie Betts, just watching him play. And I'm enjoying the WBC. I haven't watched a full game, but just the highlights and to see how much fun the DR team is having. You got Mexico wanting to play America again. The Japanese team is just crazy good. So like it's gonna be fun to see the finals. I don't know what combination of America, Japan, or Dominican Republic gonna make it. One of those three teams are gonna make it.
I agree. And Lainey, don't let him down talk. He is a huge Mookie Betts fan. Huge.
So, oh yeah, and I have one of my favorite hobby pickups this year. Here, I'll pull that. I told you guys I have a stack of show and tell because I love to show. So I love space exploration, and so Topps Cosmic Chrome Set is one of my absolute favorites.
It's a good set.
It is a good set, and since I already have a lot of Mookie, I have to be a little bit more selective in which Mookies that I get. But the fact that they did the planetarium, I picked this up at the front. I think it was the Front Row Card Show trade night.
Okay.
And I paid really strong on it because they're hard to find. Now I mean, there was a time when there were a bunch of them. You could find several of them. But what's really cool, it has the eBay authentication, which I don't know why I don't take it out of here yet. But
well, I don't either.
it just bothers me to do it for some reason. But I need to, because it's a really gorgeous card, and it's like layered. There's several layers to it, and so it has this great shadow box effect, and you can see his face really well on it. Let's see if you can see it. You can see his face really well. You can see the layering, and I was really excited to pick this one up, because I'd been looking and trying to get one, and I kept losing out on auctions on eBay, and so I was like, fine, I'm going to pay strong on it, and I'm going to get it, and then I'm going to be happy, and I haven't regretted it. So
I'm checking out other players' cards on eBay right now. These are Big Jon knows these better than I do. These are cards.
See, I don't tell anybody about some of my chases until after I secure it, because then things kind of like go crazy.
Oh, neither do I. I go into dark mode. I don't say anything.
I don't say anything. See, but I have it now, so it's okay. It's okay.
I'm the opposite. I put it out there what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to get on here, just in case somebody else sees it and can bring it to me. But
yeah, well, sometimes I do that, especially if I can't find it. So I had some great folks help me out finishing one of my Star Wars sets, and the hobby rallied and helped me finish that set, and so I really appreciated that. So and so that's a good point, John. It's like, there are people who will help you in your collecting journey and to add stuff in. And I try to help other people too, if they're looking for something. And there's nothing, I think my favorite thing about the hobby is the hunt. You're looking for something, you let me know. I'm on it. I love the hunt.
Totally.
I'm a hobby
hunt and the research.
For
You
sure.
spend a lot of time looking on eBay aimlessly, but then you hone in and you want to hunt for something, you start researching it. It makes it what you're searching for, what you're looking at, more purposeful.
For sure. And then I like to find new places to find things, which people don't. Not everything that is on ComC ends up on eBay, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Little pro tip there. Sometimes things are in the back end, and I've found things on the Beckett Marketplace still. I know a lot of people forget that is still out there.
I do.
And so it's very helpful if you're working on a set or completing a set, which I always have at least one set that I'm working on, it seems. So
have you ever tried trying to find stuff on like Mercari?
Yeah, I have. I will. Sometimes I forget to look there, but it's a good. You can find a few gems out there because and get good deals, because for whatever reason, the folks who are selling there are not a part of the larger, at least card ecosystem, and so sometimes you can really find what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Bro says big fact. Shout out to the hunt. Yes.
To the hunt. For sure.
So can you tell us more about your PC? What kind of cards make up your PC? And then what are some of the things that's in your PC that are your favorite cards? It could be for value. You just showed us one. It could be for any reason, and walk us through why it's one of your favorite cards.
Well, one, like I said, I'm starting to refine my collection, and because I feel like I can only have so many cards of Mookie at bat, right? I can have only so. I mean, do I really need so many cards of him, at bat or throwing the ball or whatever? So I love now a lot of the super short prints, reactions, facial expressions where you see emotion. Like there's a card out of 24 Heritage or 25 Heritage. One of them, it's an image variation of Mookie. And it's obviously a picture of him from the celebration of the parade. And he's just, he's like, yes. And he's got, his t-shirt on and his hat, and it's at the celebration. It's not an expensive card. It's like maybe a $10, $15 card. But, that is a moment. It's a moment in history. And when I talk about the hobby, a lot of times I'm like, you're kind of curating your own little museum of the things that you love and appreciate one way or another, or have some significance, whether it's in a sport or your favorite pop culture franchise, like for me, which is Star Wars. So I like to grab those moments. So I grabbed a few image variations I like image variations, things that are, like I picked up a Clayton Kershaw at batting practice image variation recently because he's a pitcher. You never see Clayton Kershaw with a bat in his hand, much less on a card. Not a super expensive card, but it is a short print image variation. So, I wanted to have something unique, a little bit more unique. And I still, of course, have the standard, I got my Mookie first Bowman, and I've got one of his rookies and, whatever. So there's certain, cards that I want. Photography is really important to me. It's like, is it a really strong, image? Is it unique? Because I just kind of get bored with the same thing. So it's what I call in Star Wars, the portrait sets.
Yeah.
I only need so many portrait sets. I have one that I really like, which is 22 chrome black. For Star Wars portrait sets. There are no scenes in that. It's just them standing, whatever, Darth Vader, whatever it happens to be. I only need one of those. I don't need, and then I like to, grab, if it's like a franchise like Star Wars, whatever, I like to grab my favorite scene. So for example, I love Star Wars, the animated Clone Wars and Rebels. This is where I get really geeky on you. And one of my favorite scenes out of Star Wars Rebels is when Ahsoka Tano battles Darth Vader. And that's this scene right here. Yeah. And it's this one of the best storylines, and I'll say this hand down, so I won't want to turn it into a Star Wars podcast.
Oh, we can definitely do that.
I was going to say, but one of the best storylines in all of Star Wars, in my opinion, because you have this, George Lucas is Anakin's got a Padawan. He's got an apprentice. And it's this, upstart, kid with an attitude, Ahsoka Tano, that he kind of doesn't know what to deal with, but also that they have a great synergy and chemistry because they're very similar in the fact that they question things, right?
Yeah.
So you watch all the Clone Wars series and you see the closeness of their relationship. And then season 7, the heartbreak that is parallel to Revenge of the Sith when, Anakin falls to the dark side. Ahsoka doesn't know what happened. She just knows that the Republic is over, and she's faced with this dark truth of that the dark side won, right? Mm-hmm. Fast forward to when she encounters him, spoiler alert, in Rebels, and she doesn't realize that Darth Vader, this dark Sith, is her master until, they have this big face off. And then that scene is just so
emotional.
Yeah, it's emotional. It's so poetic. And so if people are like, I cannot watch all 7 seasons of Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels. There is an Ahsoka playlist on Disney Plus. It's the essential playlist where you can watch all the essential episodes and get through that storyline. And it is really good. I recommend it. So this is my favorite scene from Star Wars. And I grew up on OG Star Wars, Princess Leia, all of that. But this is my favorite, has developed into one of my favorite storylines. Like Star Wars cartoons, what are you talking about? And then I decided to give it a shot, and then I got hooked. So
well, you just hooked me up on this Disney Plus and these scenes, so I will be checking that out.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to take you a couple days or a weekend to get through them. And some of them, I mean, it is for kids. It's for 14 but the storytelling is still really solid.
Yeah. The storytelling in that show is really good. And you don't really understand how he turned into Darth Vader, the cartoon explains it and gives you all the emotional connection, just more than you see him slaughter people out of revenge for his mother, and say you really see like how that turn comes about, and it took time for it. It wasn't just as quick as Padme's dying. It was a lot. And so I love watching that. And Rebels, I love Rebels. Ahsoka is a very good character, and I don't know if you add me on screen. I want to show you a card that I just got graded.
Oh yeah,
from Chrome Black.
Oh, there you go.
So you can see that. That's the
very nice.
I have 75 blue Ahsoka Tano.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, Chrome Black is a tricky one to grade, just because like when they're perfect, and then sometimes when there's like just a barely little thing.
Oh yeah, I see it now. It's just white, little specks of white on three corners in the back.
Yeah,
I can see it on the back of it now, but it was still a card I wanted to get graded and have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
It looks amazing in here.
And Chrome Black is it's of the portrait sets, it's the one that I like. I like 22, and then out of 23, they did animated short prints that I think maybe were one a case. And I picked up the Rebels Ahsoka out of that and the Rebels Darth Vader. So they did animated short prints. So
being a Star Wars fan, would you consider yourself, if you're in a Star Wars universe, would you be a Jedi, a Sith, or other?
So I thought about this. I went back and forth. I was like, what would I want to be? And I also was like, okay, if Dave Filoni called me up and said, hey, Lainey, do you want to play a character in Star Wars? What do you want to be? I would want to play something a little bit more ambiguous. And maybe it's because I love Ahsoka. I would want to be like the Gray Jedi or something like Baylan Skoll or Shin Hati, somewhere in the middle. Because if you think about it, and if you are really guilty and you watch the Mortis episodes in Clone Wars, and you think about balance involves light and dark, right? And so you need something in the middle. And so I would, and it's hard for anyone to be just, on the light side all the time. Though I did joke that, the Jedi Order routinely just abducted children. But because and then train them into this religious group.
Yes.
And did parents have an option? Anyway, that's a whole other fun debate of whether or
they
not
just came and gotcha.
Yeah, it's like whether that
boarding school.
Yeah, it's like whether that was ethical or not, But
and then some of these kids don't live.
Yeah, and we'll see. And then of course you have Palpatine who tries to do the same thing or for his own purposes, but I would want to be, because I feel like that balance is, we all have that mixture of good and evil, on our shoulders, that I would want to I feel like Ahsoka found the way. It's like you strive, but you're going to have those moments where you struggle. Okay. And same thing with Baylan Skoll thought and this is a deep dive for people who haven't watched the Ahsoka series. Basically, he thought he was doing the right thing, as well, is that it was around this great purpose of, again, bringing balance and back to the galaxy and everything. So
same thing with Count Dooku.
Yeah. He thought, and that's a really good point. So so if you watch some of the animated things about the Tales of the Empire, you get some of that stuff, which is really interesting. I really like some of the stuff they've done with these short series spin-offs that give other perspectives, whether it's the bounty hunter perspective or the Tales of the Empire or whatever. So if you enjoy Star Wars, just take your time, make your way through it. Every so often, our family, we do, for whatever reason, we do a rewatch of Rebels, of the entire Rebel series, just because it's fun.
It's an easy rewatch too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good, easy rewatch. I rewatch that like 3 times a year myself. Like, it's in a cycle of shows I just started rewatching from scratch. Like, me and my family, we watch Obi-Wan every so often, because my wife really likes that series. And they're not Star Wars fans the way I am, but that's her and my daughter really like that series. And I've made them watch all the movies. You gotta understand. Well, one of the coolest things I have is I have a 3 foot tall Darth Vader in my closet.
That's awesome.
Really?
Yes.
You should bring that out for the podcast so you
Yeah,
have
I
it
didn't know
standing
that.
behind you.
I mean, I have to go downstairs. I'll probably go get it later. And I also have a collectible Star Wars RC car. And then my daughter, she has a collectible Darth Vader Barbie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It stayed a collectible item for about all of 5 minutes.
Yes. Well, toys are meant to be opened.
Yeah.
I look at it this way when it's the figures, like I do have a few figures that are not open, but a few, but all of the Star Wars Legos have been opened and built and play with, except for the ones that I haven't gotten to yet. So that's another reason I'm like redoing my collection in my office, so I have room to. I love to put on a podcast or a Star Wars audiobook and put together Legos. That's my geeky.
Have you listened to the Rebels podcast?
I have not. I'll have to check. I'm going to write that down now.
There's a Rebels podcast with all the actors talking about each episode.
Oh gosh, I definitely have to check that out. And
you got the one character that I want to come to live action is Hondo.
Oh yeah,
Hondo Ohnaka is my favorite pirate.
Who would you want to play Hondo Ohnaka? Who's the actor that could bring Hondo to life? Because Jim Cummings is the voice.
Yes.
Of Hondo, and in case people don't know, Jim Cummings is also the voice of Winnie the Pooh and of Tigger and a vast variety of other characters also within the Star Wars universe. But
I don't know who I want to play Hondo. Who could be that skillfully aloof but manipulative and have this facial expression? I don't know.
Well, and also just funny. He's a scoundrel, but you like him. You're like, he's going to cheat you at cards, but you're still going to hug him at the end of the night and send him on his way, make sure he gets home safe.
That is similar to Lando, right?
Yeah, similar to Lando. It's like, but he's probably even sneakier than Lando, though.
Oh yeah, much sneakier.
But he's just been doing it so much longer. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I know that there would be some great and it would be such a fun character for someone to play for sure.
Let me ask you about research. You seem to be someone who naturally you're in that research zone. But tell people how much research you do. Is it fun to you? And what are some of the things that you do?
Funny story about research. One time I had to get a new air conditioning unit for my house, and I created a spreadsheet. So when it comes to research,
that's the sense I'm getting.
Research is my jam. Especially if it's something I really enjoy, right? So sometimes, like, one of the things I do, like when it comes to the hobby or anything like that, like I'll watch a break and I'll like look at the cards. That's part of my research. I maybe don't buy in or whatever. Maybe I'm just watching one, or I'm opening it before I like kind of commit. I want to see sometimes what the cards look like, or something is that I will. I'm really good at the internet. and I don't mean to boast, but I'm really good at what's called Boolean search strings. And if you go into like any library, a lot of times they'll have a little course or a little tips on how to do Boolean search strings, and it's Boolean. And it's basically super simple. You put your search term in quotations, so that's exact, and then you do and, or, and then your next search term. And then you let the internet do its thing. It's so that you don't get a bunch of random stuff back, right? Mm-hmm. And I will use that methodology on whether it's eBay, ComC, whatever it is that I'm looking up, and then I'll try to find. There's this joke in because I'm at work in marketing, is that the second page of Google search results is where things go to die, but sometimes you can find some nice gems on the second and third and fourth page of Google search results, because things that are older in the age of the internet, which believe me, there's still things out there, people didn't think about search engine optimization and what keywords to put in. So they don't always, and they're not paying to have their page put up on the front page of your search results or whatever happens. And then also message boards. Reddit is a really good spot. A lot of old like legacy message boards are also really good places to do research. So it depends on what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Like, right now I'm kind of like in this, and Etsy oddly is a good place. People put random things on Etsy or auction sites sometimes. So you just have to look around. Like if I'm looking for antiques or furniture, Etsy, not just eBay, I'll look at Etsy as well. I found a lot of cool things there. Depends on what, again, it depends on the hunt and what I'm looking for.
Let me ask you a question now. How often are you looking for antique furniture?
Well, not very often because I have plenty. But but I like mid-century modern furniture. So like there was a time when actually, let's see, where did we find it? Oh, Facebook Marketplace is also great. So people hate Facebook. I get it. Believe me, I get it. We lost John.
He'll be back.
He's like, I hate this conversation. I'm leaving. He's like, we're starting to talk about furniture now. And so I gotta go. But Facebook Marketplace is also a really good place to find things. But the long story short, I like mid-century modern furniture. We were looking for a dining room table for our house, and there are Facebook groups for everything.
There is.
There's stuff for people who go to Galaxy's Edge and want other people to buy stuff for them. They're called Disney smugglers or snugglers because Facebook doesn't like the word smuggle. So they'll say snugglers, which is kind of funny. And there's kind of this understanding that if somebody goes to Disneyland and buys the collectible you want because you're not near, that you're going to pay a convenience fee for that, and people, there's this whole secondary commerce thing that goes around that. I'm sure Disney hates it, but it happens because you see the resellers. But he went and got it. That's awesome.
Big Jon, how long have you had that?
8-9 years.
I feel like you bought that at Toys R Us. Did you buy that at Toys R Us?
That's what I'm thinking.
I bought it after Christmas on clearance at CVS for $5.
That's a win.
And you keep it in the closet?
Yes.
You got to bring that thing out.
Well, for a while, he scared my daughter. Now,
okay,
she's older.
Now she loves him.
Oh no, she still don't like him.
Oh, okay, well.
He just stays in the closet in the house downstairs. Yeah, guards the living room.
I love that. I
but
feel
it's Kate. Everything.
So, Lane, got a question for you. Now,
sure.
I'm interested in this now. So, if you're big on research, and a lot of people may want to hear this, how do you balance that in an impulse situation? Do you find yourself I'm getting a sense. Do you find yourself in impulse, or do you find yourself still stepping back in level set, maybe a quick phone search or something? How do you do that?
That's a really good thing because I do get caught up in the FOMO just like anyone else, right? Mm-hmm. I find what does help me. I have like probably 400 things on my watch list on eBay. Probably. And what helps sometimes is I will get excited about something and then I'll go research it and then I'll like bookmark or put all of those things on my watch list. Mm-hmm. And then I won't buy anything unless it's like super cheap or something. Okay. And then I'll go back I'll wait the next day and be like, do I really need that? And then I'm like, no. And then I, take those things off my list. But sometimes there are things like I'm just curious where they end up, or kind of how long they'll be out there. Like I said, one of the things that I really love is space exploration. I used to work for NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, and what was so awesome about that is that that is the birthplace of the Voyager spacecraft, and both Voyager 1 and 2 are beyond our solar system. They're now technically, well, there might be in kind of the layer before interstellar space, but they generally say they're they're definitely outside of our solar system, journeying towards interstellar space. And
would you say they're in the outer rim?
just about at this point. And so I'm a geek. If you guys haven't, and the audience hasn't figured this out yet, I am definitely a geek. And I grew up on Star Wars, Star Trek. I like both. And so when it, comes to researching things, like, if something like gets into my brain, like, oh, I want to learn more about that, or I stumble across something, because I love going to thrift stores and estate sales, because sometimes you just learn kind of what else is out there. And I can't collect everything though, right? So the adding things to a watch list kind of helps the curb the FOMO, like, and then I go back and they're like, do I really need this? Do I really want, is that kind of a part of my final collection? And what that criteria is for that final collection, I don't know yet. Right now, does it bring me joy? Am I excited to look at it? Will it maybe have some monetary value in the future? And then there are times that, you know what, I've enjoyed something. I enjoyed looking at it, but I'm ready to let it go. And those are the times that, I'll let something go. But the fun thing, I always want to, I love art. As you can see, I have a bunch of Star Wars art back here. Art is a problem for me, which is another reason why I got into cards, because it takes up less space. Theoretically.
Theoretically.
So Ian McKesson is a Star Wars, a tops sketch artist, and he does all the sets now. He does a couple of the sports sets, and he does Star Wars and Disney, but I had him commission this for me, which is Voyager 1 with the Millennium Falcon. And I call it, a galaxy far, far away. So eventually I'm hoping that Voyager encounters the Star Wars universe and runs into the Millennium Falcon. So this is like one of my favorite things.
Very nice.
So learn about the Voyager spacecraft. It is it will capture your imagination. And Star Trek, the motion picture, the mysterious entity ends up being Voyager 6. So hopefully that ends up, like, go and watch that. It's kind of exciting if you think about it. It's why it's one of my favorite Star Trek movies, is because the possibility of something like this spacecraft going and encountering all of these things, and it comes back to Earth way in the future.
Very cool. I'm glad I asked that question. Very cool.
I always have to do a plug for Voyager in any podcast that I do, just because it's my favorite mission. It's my favorite mission out of the lab.
Voyager is the first moon mission?
Say that again.
Voyager is the first moon mission, or?
No, Voyager is an interplanetary mission, and they did 2 of them. And I'm a little bit rusty on my dates, but so Voyager has been, it's been out there. Voyager 1 and 2 have been out exploring our solar system for over 40 years now. So what they did is they wanted to do flybys of the various, planets beyond, obviously Earth, and to get satellite images. So Voyager has, I think, oh golly, my JPL buddies are going to get mad at me. I think has visited each Voyager spacecraft. Somebody in the comments should probably correct me. Has visited at least 7 of the planets in our solar system. They've done flybys over the last four decades, but now in the past 10 years, like, we've gotten all the pictures. So the pictures that we have of Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, even though it's technically a dwarf planet now,
Pluto is a planet. I will argue.
I know.
My daughter down to that.
I know. Fact. I came up with it was a planet as well. Some of my friends that are planetary scientists, they'll be like, it's a dwarf planet, but we get where you're coming from. it hurts us too. Um, but that's where a lot of all of our pictures of those planets came from, was from those flybys, and how we learned about what they were made of, and some of the go research Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 to see what they've seen, where those photos that we grew up with as kids in our science books and everything, that those pictures, most of them have come from Voyager 1 and 2. So there's the pale blue dot photo.
Mhm.
When I want to say, I'm trying to remember what planet Voyager was by, where it turned its camera and it took a photo of Earth. And that photo is called the pale blue dot. And it's an iconic photo. And so it kind of reminds us that, we're all in this together, and in this big, spacious, empty galaxy, is that, we're the only ones we got is one another. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful photo. And I actually collected a card of Carl Sagan that Topps has in an old heritage set. That it's actually, no, actually, have I picked up the Carl Sagan yet? No, I think it's on my list to pick up. Don't anybody go buy it. There are plenty out there, I think. But it's
to come see we go.
Yeah, to come see we go. But it's really, when it comes to Voyager and the record, sometimes I remember I had a conversation with the director of the lab at the time, and I said, what if we did a Voyager 3? Because now with all the new technology and everything that we have, what if we did a Voyager 3? Going back around the planets again, what else would we learn? And then now it's even more capable with more power and the greater technology and instruments and communication, because we still talk to Voyager every single day. Mm-hmm. What do you make guys not realize? We still talk to Voyager every single day. Well, maybe every 20 hours or so, because it's gotten so far. But the folks at JPL still talk to Voyager every single day. And
but yet my internet connection can't stay stable.
Yeah. And they still get data back. And these folks, when I say built to last, this is like the technology compared from when it was first launched to now is just light years different now. But that spacecraft still communicates, still sends data back every single day. They've still figured out how to communicate with it, and then how to, in this very basic language, like Fortran is, I think they're still using Fortran with Voyager to still get it to keep running after all of this time, because some of its instruments have shut down or are no longer functioning, but we still get some data back from Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 every single, every couple of days, or so. So it's really excited, because at JPL, if anyone ever visits the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, in one of the buildings, they have this thing called the Pulse. Mm-hmm. And basically it's this light sculpture that, as the lab or mission control sends, messages and communications to any of the spacecraft, the lights go up, and it will have, the center beam will say which spacecraft it's communicating with. And as they get data coming back, the lights will come down, and the lights will be bright, and how many lights is representative of how much data is coming in. So what's really cool is that sometimes I'd go and I'd get my coffee and walk around lab, and I'd stop there at the Pulse, and I'd wait for Voyager data to come in, because it would always kind of cycle through. And you'd see this just this rainfall of lights, which indicated that we were communicating with that spacecraft. So that was really cool. So if you ever have an opportunity, which there are public tours at JPL, you just have to go to their website and see when you can get in. But it is one of the coolest things is and that would be one of my favorite things. And then sometimes I would, if I had more time, I'd walk over to Mission Control, or is known as the dark room. And you could see, like, from the Deep Space Network, which spacecraft, they were currently communicating with. Because what people may not know is that, all these missions have to book time on the Deep Space Network. And the main arrays are are here in Southern California, in Madrid, Spain, and in Australia. I can't remember off the top of my head. Australia and the Deep Space Network. So every deep space or far space satellite mission, all those spacecraft, all of that data comes in through JPL in Southern California, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So you get to go in and you see what spacecraft are talking, to us that day, and what data is coming in, and then all of that gets parsed out. So like Perseverance every day, the rover that's on Mars right now, one of the 2 rovers that are actively on Mars, we have people getting data from them every single day. And so did you know that there are Tops Now cards celebrating the Perseverance mission as well? So, there are lots of cool things out there when it comes to collecting in the hobby that you can really focus on if you get into the hobby. It doesn't have to be just sports. It doesn't have to be just, Star Wars or a television show or a movie. There's like so many things. You can collect people from history. You can collect NASA stuff. You can collect birds. Like, Alan and Ginter always seems to have a bird set, or dinosaur bones or things like that. And that's one of, I think, the really cool things about the hobby is that it's really accessible to whatever your interest is. Are you into politics? There are politics, and which is one of my favorite pickups, actually, that came just the other day that I was really excited. I got a former president in the mail, and I was really excited about it. And I'm going to show it because
I want to see it.
He was at the All-Star game.
Shooting that jumper. Yeah.
Shooting that jumper. This is like from 2008. This is the E-Tops, Barack Obama. And they are numbered to 999.
Okay.
So this is kind of one of those obscure things. It was one of my favorite pickups. I have one other Barack card, but this one is, as much as he loves basketball and being at the All-Star game, and these jumped up when he showed up at the All-Star game.
They did, yeah.
And I was like, I've been looking at this card for months, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger yet, because I was like trying to find one that maybe was a 10 and that wasn't super expensive, because these can get expensive.
Oh yeah.
And that was something that led me, when I discovered this card existed, I was like, well, what's E-Tops? So I went on a research thing. Well, what other E-Tops cards are there out there? And there's a LeBron rookie E-Tops card.
The LeBron rookie is a Brady. There's several.
There's a Brady. And I was like, huh. And the LeBron E-Tops has jumped up too. Because I kind of was like, do I want a LeBron? Do I want that LeBron in my collection? Do I want a rookie? That one is still, I feel like, is priced to where it's still affordable before it gets too crazy.
I used to have one once upon a time.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, I'm gonna be more prepared for show and tell.
See,
there's something you want to break out, because I saw you take a move back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I want to see it.
I can't find my Rock. I'm trying to find my Honda. Hold on.
All right, it'll come.
Oh yeah. So, and I just enjoy finding now, like, more unique things, things that are a little bit more, I don't want to say rare, because it isn't always rare. But sometimes, it's just unique, and you don't kind of think about it. Like, I stumbled across the Carl Sagan card searching for NASA stuff one night. Okay. And I was like, oh, and I thought about it because I have a good friend of mine who works at JPL, and she works in planetary protection, which sounds really cool, right? And she was inspired by Carl Sagan, and she has this wonderful story. I'm not going to tell it because it's her story. But I was like, oh, maybe I should. And I am a little bit of a gift giver.
Yeah. Even if in our initial conversations, you alluded to this.
Yeah. So if if I know you like something and then I find a card, it's hobby related. If I find a card that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna send this. Like my brother, he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. Bless his heart.
Okay.
And because he grew up with the Dallas Cowboys. I did too. I used to want to be the kicker for the Dallas Cowboys. But I send him old players that he still loves. I mean, he's still a Dallas fan, but there are certain players that he really enjoys. So I'll send him just random stuff. He also likes Hey Hey from Moana. He has like this Hawaiian shirt. My brother's such a dork, but he's I can say that he's not here to defend himself. He would agree. He loves Hey Hey from the dumb chicken, the dumb rooster.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a Hey Hey card recently and I sent it to him in the mail. So I will just like find, random things. I love sending.
Jordan says he's received a gift.
He's received a gift. Yeah. So okay, this is, again, I'm an old lady in some ways and I'm a nerd. I have started sending postcards in the past couple of years and letters to people in the mail.
Okay.
Good old-fashioned stamps, just as another way of keeping that human connection. Because people don't write letters anymore. They send DMs and tweets and emails and stuff like that. I like to send random either trading cards or a postcard or whatever. So my new thing is like my friend Caleb, who he does a podcast as well, but he's really into Game of Thrones. And so I will send him Game of Thrones stuff if I run across it and find a good deal on it, like, $5 or something like that. And I'm sure his wife is like, why do you keep sending Caleb stuff? And, but she's a good sport, and she's like, Lainey, you're so weird. But they're good friends of mine. And they don't know this unless they happen to be watching tonight. But today I put in the mail, they recently moved to Seattle.
Okay.
And they're not real big sports people, but that it's when you move someplace new, sports and getting in with the local teams is a good way to connect and meet people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent them a bunch of the Seattle sports teams trading cards. And I said, use these to make friends. Like I sent them, I think I had a couple Seahawks in there, the WNBA team, I almost said Supersonics, but that's not right. And of course the Mariners. So I sent them, I said, use these to make friends because, they're just horrible people. They're going to need people. They're going to have to bribe them. No, they're wonderful people. And Caleb is going to be like, why, as I drop his name, he's going to be like, why are you sending me these? But it's so they can connect with their neighbors. I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Couple things. Bam had 83 points tonight.
I've been waiting. I don't want to cut anything off.
Yeah, I want to cut off, but
I don't even understand how he did that. So we'll see that later. Go ahead.
Wait, say that again. Who had
Bam Adebayo had 83 points tonight?
So he's between Wilt and Kobe now.
U.S. is down 8-0 to Italy.
I told people they're not going to do what people think they're going to do. They're not.
That's 2 that just popped up. And then 3, I found one of my cards for show and tell.
Okay.
What you got?
Oh, yeah, there's Hondo.
Hondo Naka Auto with Jim Cummings Auto.
That's out of 25 because it's
yes, it is nice. And you see, the top strong black is a set I do like.
It's a good set.
It's a good set. And I had a couple questions when we're talking about space for you.
Okay.
One, are you going to the National?
When is the National? So probably not.
In July. Have you ever been to Chicago?
In July.
If someone would like to sponsor my participation in the National, that would be great. Because it's in Chicago again, though. I do like Chicago.
And then the year after that, it's in Detroit.
But if you ever get to Chicago, you have to go to the Planetarium. It is by far one of the best planetarium space things.
Okay.
I mean, it's a mandatory yearly school trip for kids in Chicago. At least when I was a kid through high school, mandatory field trip. and it is amazing. Just
Absolutely.
everything about space. I think you'd love that.
I definitely love planetariums, and I love Chicago. I've been to Wrigley Field. I've been to the game a game there, and then there's the Field Museum.
Yep, it's from
And
same area as the Food Museum.
Yeah, and the Art Institute of Chicago, which is amazing. And see, this is why I want people to be curious. And there's probably a trading card out there for the Field Museum or some of the art that's there, which is there's some really unique. There's a Van Gogh there. I think the Sunflowers is at the Art Institute of Chicago, and then there are a couple of Monets, like the really big ones. And you don't you see it in books and stuff and online or whatever, but you don't really appreciate how amazing it is, even if you're not a big art person. But when you see an iconic piece of artwork in person, it's like I recently saw a Blue Boy, which I've been living here for 5 years now.
Okay.
The Blue Boy painting, iconic painting, has been 15 minutes away from me this entire time. It's at the Huntington Museum or the Huntington Library, which it's not exactly a library, it is, but it's also a museum in these massive gardens. And I was like, wait a minute, Blue Boy's here. And I was like, and then this painting is massive. I always thought it was a somewhat just around here. This thing is massive. I had no idea it was that big. And it was just, my life isn't necessarily complete, but I was like, wow. I was like, I had no idea, because it's something you see, in pop culture, like iconic art or whatever that's really well known. And yeah, so I love all of that stuff. So John, planetarium, Chicago. Yeah, that I like all those things.
We got a question here from Zerny. He says, will and can the Voyager come back to Earth one day?
Zerny, that is a really good question. It will not, and it probably cannot. As far as it was never meant to come back to Earth. It still communicates with Earth thanks to the Deep Space Network and the folks at JPL in Mission Control. But it was never meant to come back. It was after it made all of its flybys of the planets and they got all the pictures that they needed. It was always meant if it continued to function, this is one of the things, is that they've been really probably surprised that these spacecraft have lasted for 40 years. To give you an idea, the Curiosity rover, which is on Mars right now, is it 20 years old now? It was meant to last like 2 or 3 years, and it has well met all of its mission criteria, and now it's on the last 10-15 years of bonus time. Same thing with the Mars helicopter. It was supposed to only do maybe a handful of flights just to prove that powered flight was possible on Mars, and it was still working, and so they used it to help Perseverance scout out its next route on Mars, which is really cool. It did get a damaged propeller. So it doesn't fly anymore, but it helps communicate. It helps Perseverance communicate with, and it still gets data and stuff and will. But yeah, that's kind of one of the things that's a little bit heartbreaking, which is why, Zerny, you need to watch Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Is a story of when one of those Voyager spacecraft comes back to Earth, and the circumstances it comes back to Earth. And that is I kind of gave you a big spoiler, but you should watch it. It's a good movie.
Imani has another question here. Have you ever been to the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama?
I have not, but that is also where Space Camp is. And that's where I have always wanted to go to Space Camp. And did you know they've opened up Space Camp to grownups now? And so maybe someday I will get to go. One of my daughter's friends has actually been to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. But I would like to go there. I've been to Huntsville, Alabama, but unfortunately at the time I didn't have time to go by there because it was a work trip. But I would love to go there. I've been to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, which is really cool. I've been there twice, once with my grandmother in the 5th grade, and I got to see the space shuttle on the launch pad at the time.
Okay.
Which was really cool. It was from a distance. It was like from a really far distance because they don't let you get super close to it. And then the second time I went, there was nothing on the launch pad, any of the launch pads at the time. And so we got to drive around them, and we saw the one that SpaceX rents from NASA to be able to launch and their spacecraft and all the Falcons and let's say the Falcon 9 and can't remember what all of them are, but that was really cool. And then they have this great visitor center there. So if you ever go to Florida, make time to go to the Kennedy Space Center. And if you're lucky, you can have lunch with an astronaut, which is always a lot of fun too. We had an opportunity to have lunch with astronaut Al Worden, who passed away a couple of years ago, but he was one of the original Apollo, not Apollo 11, but he was one of the Apollo mission astronauts. And so that was really a privilege to be able to speak to those guys, because guys, I don't work for JPL anymore. I just love it so much. But we are getting, and at NASA, that we will say is, this is your space program. And NASA is getting ready to go back to the moon with the Artemis missions. So the next one will be a flyby or an orbit of the moon. And then I forgot what the third one's going to be, but I think the fourth one is going to be where we get boots on the ground again for the first time since the Apollo missions. So, which is really, really exciting because it's all plays into that moon to Mars. To be honest, I would love to see the Mars and to walk on it, but I don't want to live there.
All right.
I don't want to colonize there. I don't want to live there. I like my sun and my mountains and breathable air and an atmosphere that works. So, but still be amazing to go and see what we learn there.
I agree. I do not want to live on Mars or the moon. I'm happy on this small blue dot.
Yes, I am happy on the pale blue dot. We have oceans here. We have water. The only way Mars would be worth it is if we eventually, probably hundreds of years from now, we figure out how to terraform it. So to make it a livable space. But, people forget it doesn't have an atmosphere really. And it's not a place you want to live. It might be a neat place to see, but it's not a place you want to live. But if somebody else wants to go and colonize it, have at it. It's not, it won't be me.
Okay. All right. So I think we had a list. I don't have the questions in front of me, FD.
Oh, I got a few here. What advice would you give someone that wants to get involved in a hobby? What would you tell them?
Don't do what I did, which is like I really, and I'll sum that up this way, is that I didn't know what I didn't know, and I overspent before I really understood what was available out there, the different places to get it. And this is my cautionary tale. For example, we bought a entire complete set of 1977 Star Wars cards. By the way, there were 5 series, not just the blue one. There were 5 series. We bought all of them. I did it from one of the auction sites where you pay a buyer's premium, which I didn't really consider that in our final purchase price, which I should have. I think by now we've broken even and are a little bit ahead now, just because of how the Luke Skywalker rookie has increased in value.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like a 9 or a 10 or anything. I think it's an SGC 7. So is that, and that was before we really realized that we could go other places and find those sets and things graded, and really understanding the premium or the value add that grading adds to something. We kind of just thought, oh, well, this, people are bidding this much, it must be worth that, right? And then I was like, oh wow, we could have got this for probably a half the price, or even maybe a little less than half the price of what we ended up spending. Is so, and then try not to get into the hype cycles. It's really, really hard. Because we're meant to be excited about it, right? All these new products and everything, and understand what you like, why you like it. Like, are you getting into the hobby to flip and to resell and to make quick money, or are you into the hobby to collect? And those are two different things. I always tell people, when they're like, oh, Lainey, do you set up at shows? And I do. And they're like, oh, why don't you do it more often? I said, because I'm a great collector. I'm a horrible seller, because I sell in order to maintain and sustain my collecting. I don't do it for a living. I don't do it to make money. So sometimes I will overpay for a card because I want it in my collection. Sometimes I will sell a card cheap because I want to help somebody else with their collection. So I'm a better collector than I am a seller. So just understand why you're getting into the like what your motivations are. And if your motivations are to flip cards and make a profit, then buy singles, grade, and know how grading works. And then do it, and then don't have any emotional attachments. I have a good friend of mine who sets up at shows, and he has a very, very small PC, a very, very small PC. He's really good at letting stuff go. I am really bad about letting stuff go, and I will. So know why. Yeah. So just, I'm sorry. Yeah. So just know why you want to be in the hobby is the first thing.
Yeah. For me, the time to let stuff go is when I put it out straight. I don't get that same excitement as when I purchase it, or when I open it from the mail, or when I put it from the back. Then I'm okay with letting it go, because it's no longer giving me that feeling. I guess, like, as much as I would want to sell the Hondo, every time I look at it, I get a big smile on my face. That means it needs to stay with me, and stay around. But I totally agree. Like, I've set up at 3 shows since December, and setup of shows is not for the week, and for a lot of different reasons, right? Sales is my day-to-day job, so I have no problem talking to people, shaking hands, and having fun and making friends. But then when I'm not selling stuff, you see the annoyance on my face, because I'm here to do something. It's like, it's not worth my time if I don't have cards moving in and out, and I'm not transacting. I'm not having the best of time. Then you got to do the research and take your stuff out of it. Like, why? Was it my attitude? Was it my inventory? Was it just time of year it was? So like right now, and we talked about it, Rick, I am holding off on setting up shows until my inventory improves. Because I've had the same things for the last 6 months on the table. So in the meantime, I'm staying active by trying to get better at grading, which I am failing at right now. I think my last 20 cards graded, I'm now 5 for 20 on PSA 10.
Yeah, that was the hard thing for me, because I do grade, but I'm a procrastinator in grading. If I picked up a card raw to add to my PC, and like I'm gonna grade it, like I will eventually grade this card. I was looking at it earlier today, and it's really clean. It's in really, really good condition, and I just put it in the one touch for the show. That one I actually probably will grade. It looks really good. But I was kind of debating. I was like, well, who do I want to send it to? And I'd probably, for resale, yeah, PSA. But I also thought, man, it would look probably really sharp in a tag slab just because they have just the plastic on that
So clear.
is so clear. But I have a stack over here of things like random things to grade, like some, vintage Disney, old Panini stuff. Let's see, Branch Rickey, I was looking for that. I collect a very random baseball player called Allie Reynolds. He was a pitcher for the Yankees because he is a member of my tribe of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And so I collect, I'm probably I'm probably close to finishing every card that he had. Oh, here's, I pulled this one
That's nice.
to 5
Yes.
of Lupita Nyong'o. She's, Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've got this stack of random things that I may or may not want to grade that I had picked up. And so, like, I'm a procrastinator. So when people are like, oh, don't you grade? I said, I do when I ever I get around to it. Like, I
Do
like
you have particular companies? You said PSA for resale. You said tag. Do you do stuff with SGC still, or?
Yeah, I do. Like this I'm gonna send. I like to send vintage to SGC, and these I'm gonna send to SGC. These are some old vintage, like
Disney
story time from Mickey Mouse. Yeah, at Disney from the, I want to say the 30s. I'll send those to SGC just because I think. So some things, like I like sending vintage to SGC a lot, or if I think a card that is going to look much better in a text, especially for the PC. If I think it's going to look really good in a text, like Chrome Black looks really good in a text. Then I'll send it. And I also feel like maybe sketches, but I've got some sketches that I am thinking about sending to tag just because of the clear plastic and you can really see the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I still like PSA slabs. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I think, oh yeah, that's going to look, I just want to see it slabbed up because I think it's going to look, nice, but I don't have to have everything graded. I mean, I get sometimes irritated when it's a regular size card and PSA puts it in an oversized or thicker slab. That really annoys me. I've got one card that they did that with, but
I think red looks really good in the tux.
Red
cards looks really good in the tux.
Yeah.
And then for like, I will buy CGC for the PC. So I have a lot of Kobe Whites and CGC or PSA 9 for the PC. If it's for PC, I am buy the card, not the grade. Well, I won't buy anything lower than a 9, but I'll take the discount on PSA 9s and CGC 10s. And if it's for resale value, it's all going to PSA.
If it's for the PC, but I know it's a card that I'm going to care about the resale value for in the future, then I'll go with PSA for sure. But like I recently picked up, I don't know where it is. It's in my other box. A Lisa Leslie auto in a PSA, or not a PSA, an SGC 9, just because I wanted to have a Lisa Leslie auto, only to come home and find that I already had a Lisa Leslie auto.
You got two. That's wonderful.
I was like, oh wait, oh well, yeah, she is a goat, which is why I bought it. But and I think as the WNBA continues to get well, as long as they don't have a lockout, continues to gain in popularity, that those collectors are going to start looking beyond just Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark and the hyped up and Angel Reese, and start looking at some of the older players, like the veterans, like looking for a Candace Parker auto, which is next on my list. Lisa Leslie, I picked up a Dawn Staley auto recently. I mean, because she was an amazing player and an amazing coach. And then I think, let's see, Becky Hamby. We want to pick up a Becky Hamby auto because I mean, she's a great coach, player. Asia Wilson. Is it Asia or Aja? Because I've heard it
It's
both.
Asia Wilson.
Thank you. Okay. Somebody was saying Aja the other day, and I was like, I don't think that's right.
Well,
Maybe,
It's a-
but maybe I'm wrong. So I was like, maybe I've been wrong this entire time.
As a South Carolina fan, I appreciate the Don Staley and Asia Wilson. Don Staley is amazing coach, player, person.
Yes. So we went to the UCLA South Carolina game where UCLA broke their streak. And I have my ticket stubs from that because we made it a point like before the game to go get ticket stubs. I don't know what made us think to go to Will Call and do it, but I was like, oh no, I would like to like commemorate, this game. And then UCLA ended up winning. It broke the streak, which I felt like it was a pretty, significant moment.
Yes.
We love Don Staley, and a good friend of mine from Oklahoma. She actually played on the women's basketball team at Oklahoma State, and so we talk women's basketball some. She's super hyped now these days because of how the women's basketball has grown. And then she, so I send her cards. I was like, well, who's your favorite team? And she's like, well, I love Kelsey Mitchell on the Fever. So she was like very specific about who. She's like, I like these. She said, of course, Caitlin Clark, whatever. She said, but Kelsey Mitchell is my favorite player. So I been tracking down Kelsey Mitchell cards, where I can find them and to send them to her.
And Kelsey Mitchell balled, and FD catches a lot of flack for saying that Caitlin Clark shouldn't have come back last year because they were balling with Kelsey Mitchell running the point.
Yeah,
I'm going to share my thoughts on Caitlin Clark, but I decided to just listen.
Okay, well, I'm curious. I have 3 base Caitlin Clark cards, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. What do you think of Caitlin Clark, lady?
I think
overall
I think she's a tremendous player. I mean, I will say this: Paige Beckers is more fun to watch.
Yes.
Lady just said what I think every day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey. So I'm in Connecticut, and I've watched Paige and seen her, and so I love Paige. I think Caitlin is overhyped, and that is the main problem. I don't think she's a problem. No, I just think her fans have overhyped her.
Yeah.
And listen, they can't admit that she had a bad year last year.
Yeah.
That she wasn't healthy and her stats suffered.
Yeah, I mean, and from a hobby collecting standpoint, that's where you think like, "Ooh, it's only her second year. Is she gonna be injury prone?"
Mm-hmm.
Which is why
it's something that never really goes away.
Yeah,
you can't be a known 3-point shooter and shoot 29% from the 3.
No, she was hurt. She was hurt.
Yeah, but I feel like any young player, even as someone as talented as Caitlin Clark and as good as she is, like they're gonna come to the league and they're gonna progress because they're playing a higher level of talent. So iron sharpens iron, right? And even like Caitlin Clark's going to make other people better and people are going to make her better. And I've already seen like a tremendous improvement in Angel Reese's game.
Oh yeah.
Angel Reese gets a bunch of crap that she doesn't deserve because I've watched her play on TV and I've watched her play in person when the Sky came to play the Sparks. Mm-hmm. And she is one of the most unselfish players I have ever seen. She's distributing the ball. She doesn't get mad. She gets back on defense. She hustles. Even when she's getting her own rebounds, you know what? If I miss a shot and I don't get my own rebound, am I playing? Am I, you damn well better get your own rebound if you miss the shot.
She plays hard. And I think her playing in Unrivaled last year and having that iron sharpened iron really improved her game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like my biggest critique was you can't miss open layups going full speed.
Right.
That was my biggest critique for sure. And you didn't see a lot of that throughout the whole WNBA.
Right.
A lot less open full speed layups being missed. And that's also another reason why you see the points totals elevate. Because they're missing less easy shots.
Yeah.
But you've seen the biggest thing on Unrivaled, which is to me, one of the biggest impacts on the negotiation is you see how much money they can make themselves and how much better the facilities can be. And, even if you take some of the money out, just treat them like professional athletes and everybody will make a lot of money.
Right. And the one-on-one tournament was a lot of fun. I was watching, Chelsea Gray, and that we watched the replay of it. And it was, I mean, wow, you really then see how much work one playing in a professional basketball game is. Or any basketball game. I mean, I'm good for in a basketball game is fouls. So if you need 5 fouls, 6 fouls, I'm your girl. But because I'll stomp on somebody's toe or whatever.
You can just throw both.
I'll throw some elbows.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to go very far because I'm short. But I mean, that's my dream. Is Mark Degnall, recruits me just when he needs a foul.
Darth Mom, aka Bill Laney.
Yeah, it's like in this little 5-foot gal comes out in their Thunder jersey, and people are like, "What the heck is Mark Dagnall doing?" And then I just go and I foul somebody when they need it. I'm good for that. I can foul somebody.
So tell me, how did the Thunder fandom come about?
I'm originally from Oklahoma.
Okay.
I was there the day they announced the team inside of Leadership Square. When they announced that the Supersonics were now the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm sorry, Supersonics fans out there, I'll probably get some hate. We have taken good care of your team. And we were season ticket holders up until the year before last, even after we moved here. And then our some friends took over our lower level tickets, and we had some family member who took over our upper level tickets. So when we go back home to visit Oklahoma, we get to go to games. Okay. And we have the NBA League Pass and all of the streaming subscriptions that you need this year to watch the Thunder. We don't miss a game. That game last night was amazing. SGA, I mean, FD knows. I mean, I'm going to be an Oklahoma City homer anyway, but now it's justified. It is justified. So like when I talk about that, so Oklahoma City's inaugural season was in 2008, right? So, which was Russell Westbrook's NBA debut. So this is one of the tickets graded that I got graded from the inaugural season.
Nice.
Thing, and Russell Westbrook's debut from one of my seats.
That's a nice ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And section 118. So if you ever go to a Thunder game, section 118 row K is where my seats were. Yeah, and so this is I have both of our seats graded. When I learned that PSA grades these, I got these graded. I've got James Harden's too.
So let me ask you a question. I've always wondered this. You go to a game, you have the ticket. How do you preserve the ticket throughout the game to get it out, to get it home, to send it in? What did you do that?
Well, one, I'm a collector and a bit of a pack rat. And so these were, I was like, I feel like these are, I was just really, this got a 5. This one got a 5, but
grading is hard.
When you, because they don't hand out tickets anymore, right?
No.
Oh, but when they did in the first inaugural game, when they had the big tickets for where if you were sitting in the lower bowl, they gave you like a lanyard to put them in.
Oh, okay.
And that's what you put it in there, and
okay, which
was really, really nice. And then and then I threw it in a box with a bunch of other ticket stubs, and I have a ticket stub with KD's autograph on it that I got after, because our tickets used to be right above where the Thunder would come in and out from the locker room.
Okay.
And so we would get there, and I could just I literally just leaned over and handed him, something to sign, and he handed it back. But so that's where the love of the Thunder comes from. My partner went to the first finals game when Halliburton hit that last second shot. So, but she still had a great time. She went with her sister. Okay. And and they had a great time, and of course, and we ended up winning it in Game 7. Of course, we also wonder what would have been if Hallie hadn't been hurt, but
They'd have still lost.
I still think we would have won. It was Game 7 at
I
home.
don't know. He was cooking.
Yeah, he was cooking, but I think we now see what SGA is capable of. That game last night was so much fun to watch.
You hit 2 threes to seal the game.
To seal the game.
What I like about the game last night is his explanation of taking those shots and what he saw. In those coverages.
Yeah, he's an analytical player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's thinking. And what I love about his game is that I don't care what's going on. That guy is even keeled.
He is so even keeled.
And it's rare. You only see a few players like that. Kobe said this about Curry, but you only see a few players that are cooking you, or they just missed some key shots or got ripped for something. Maybe they turned the ball over. And he's still just like this.
And he plays defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays, you see it on both sides. And let's see, last night he only had 4 foul shots the entire game or something like that.
4 foul shots, 15 assists, 0 turnovers.
0 turnovers. So I mean, SGA I think he's securing. I've just been more stressed out about his record. I'm probably more concerned about it than he is about the consecutive games.
He's going far with that. I think I see him going closer to 200 games than anybody has ever attempted to step on a basketball court.
Which
is one thing that'll stop him is an injury.
Which is why at the West Coast Card Show, the last one I picked up.
That's a great card. I love that. I like the way that looks.
Yeah. And I had Hitman Rip help me track down this card because he knew I was looking for it. And what being from Oklahoma, what I love about this card is that you have the state capital here. Mm-hmm. And then at the top is our Native American statue that took forever. You got the Route 66. And then over here, this is from the fairgrounds, that the great state of Oklahoma fairgrounds. I forgot exactly what it is, but I've looked at this photo and I was like, okay, did they get Oklahoma City right? And okay, they did. It's a weather tower or something. I forgot what it was called, but I was like, they did a good job on this. I was pretty happy with it. And so we have one of the big oversized one of these in our living room right now.
Did you frame it?
No, we probably will eventually, but I was really, at first I was kind of critical of this design because I was like, what do you mean Highway 2? There's not a Highway 2. And then I was like, hey Goober, that's his jersey number. And so I ate crow on that one. I was like, you dummy. So I was like,
valid question though. Valid question.
I only have one shade because I think FD has me looking for shades when I go to shows. And I picked up this a couple months ago.
That's a cool card.
Rookie ticket, dual auto.
Yeah.
Is that game used, game worn? What is that?
No.
Probably
player worn.
But at least it's player worn.
That's player worn.
That's better than. But then I was really excited when Topps got the license because this was the card.
Oh, that's a cool card.
This is the golden mirror.
Golden mirror. That's the first golden mirror I've seen.
So.
And I was telling FD when it came out, those are the cards to look for. Those are the ones that are truly short printed.
Yeah.
And are hard to find.
Yeah, this one is the team card. His golden mirror goes for a lot more. I was like, I'm happy with this one. He's holding the trophy and the team's there. And you've got Hartenstein back there with his kid who kept falling asleep.
Yeah, that head was dangling.
Yeah. So I was like, I was like, this is a great photo. And then here's my other. I have a lot of shade, but these are the ones I wanted to show. This is an auto. He did kind of a private signing for, I don't know, shops and stuff in Oklahoma, and there are not that many sports card shops, but the local shop in Oklahoma, in Moore, Oklahoma City, he had a bunch of these. I bought this for $20.
It's a deal.
Like 2 years ago, I bought this for $20. on-card auto of Shea. And I wish I had bought them all because he had several. I was like, now I wish I had bought them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then my latest Thunder. Well, it's not my Thunder. I actually pulled this and I graded it, and it's Pop 1. And I had it on listed for sale for a while because he wasn't a Thunder player, but now he is. Jared McCain.
Dang, yeah. McCain.
So that's nice. I've been talking about Jared McCain for weeks before, and I picked up a bunch of his rookie cards, including an immaculate of his, and a week later he goes to the Thunder. I'm like, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Just let him play.
I've never seen a player look so happy to be traded. Did anybody else notice that other than
me? I noticed that. If I was him, I would want to get out of the 76ers organization. Edgecombe is taking all your minutes because we started talking about that at the beginning of the season, even when you're back and you're healthy. And you know this guy has game, so.
Well,
and Edgecombe has game as well, but
I would say if you drop Edgecombe with OKC and told him to run that second unit, it's not happening like that. He doesn't have that game. So.
My question is, there's been a significant drop-off in Edgecombe from the beginning of the year in his play and in his card market.
I agree.
Like, there are only two players in this draft as far as cards right now, and that's Knipple and Flag.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the early half of Derek Queen, Dylan Harper, Edgecombe, all of that stuff is super cheap comparative.
You have these young players and they get past game 35, 40. It's rough.
Yeah, well, they're not used to playing this much.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm like, everybody's talking about this year's draft is so much deeper and so much better, but they can only really call out 3 players, and none of those 3 players are life-changing. They're all just, really good.
Wait till this draft.
Right. I'm saying this draft
even worse.
That you saw Devanza, Peterson, Boozer, and after that, they're not franchise guys in most scouts' eyes. They're really good players, but they're not franchise changers.
And probably a couple of them may not even go in the draft. They may just stay.
And then when you listen to the scouts talk about it, everybody else, they're really good, but I think people are hyping themselves up for this draft to be deep, and they're going to overpay next year on a lot of basketball cards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've long since stopped chasing like the rookie flip, even in basketball. I definitely don't do it in I don't do football at all anymore. I was like, it's too fickle. Poor Josh Allen, he sneezes and gets a booger on his nose, and his card market goes down. I mean, it's the most.
He throws a key interception in a big game.
Yeah,
we got show and tell. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Came from immaculate.
That is nice. I like that one. Yeah. But yeah, for me, football is just too fickle from weekend to weekend. It's like the hobby is just very. It is so much more. What have you done for me lately versus basketball or baseball, or soccer even. It is just very much like you have one bad play and it seems like things go down, and then you have one great play and things spike up. And I couldn't handle that volatility, and I wasn't passionate enough about I have some football cards, but they're more vintage. We've got Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, the GOATs, and I need a Roger Staubach rookie card eventually in my collection. I've got a Jim Thorpe, so I've stuck to proven Hall of Famers. I mean, I like CD Lamb, but I still sold his rookie card this last weekend just because I feel like the football market I can't deal with that kind of risk, and I get frustrated. And so I was like, you know what? I have a few Oklahoma State University players like Tylen Wallace and Chuba Hubbard just because they went to Oklahoma State. And you know what? I have their Oklahoma State cards.
Oh, you went to Oklahoma State? Didn't know that. Okay.
Yes. So Cade Cunningham, woohoo. So I'm rooting for Cade, but I also don't want him to get MVP. But if I'll be happy for him if he does, because he went to Oklahoma State and he's finally really showing. I've got a really cool Cade Cunningham card, but he's in his Oklahoma State uniform. So fun fact about my love of basketball came from Oklahoma State because I was there when Eddie Sutton was the coach. Again, showing my age.
I remember those days.
My freshman year is when we went to the Final Four with Big Country, and I was in a Rotary
Big
group.
Country.
I was a big fan, man.
Yeah, I mean, I sat and I watched Desmond Mason play, and and all those. So, yeah, which is why I like Marcus Smart. He was he played for.
He was a nice player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I love. So it was
Des Bryant. Des Bryant was Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah, Des Bryant. I watched Des play. I was working for Oklahoma State at that time. I worked for the university for a period of time, and so saw like Des Bryant play. And I was at the game where Oklahoma State played Texas, and it was Kevin Durant's 1 year, and it went into triple. It was the triple overtime game. And I was at that game when Oklahoma State, thank God we pulled that out in the last overtime, just barely. I was up in the nosebleed of Gallagher-Iba Arena. I was working for the university at that time in career services, and it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we won because Gallagher-Iba was definitely rocking. If you've never been, well, I haven't been to a basketball game in a long time at Oklahoma State, but back in the Sutton days, Gallagher-Iba Arena would be rocking for sure. So that's a challenge to the Oklahoma State kids these days, is make Gallagher-Iba rocking again.
You're right about that. You are correct.
But, confession, I can't name our coach right now, so I like it.
Okay. But let's be honest, college basketball does not have the same gravitas it had 10 years ago.
That's for many reasons. There are many layers.
There's many layers to that.
Yeah.
But it's just not the same. Like, I don't think they do the Big Ten ACC Challenge anymore. I grew up on that, watching Illinois playing Duke in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up on that tournament. You don't see them on the airplane cap, the Maui Invitationals. I don't think I did that this year, or at least I didn't see it. It wasn't,
Well, it's because they only have to spend 1 year in college before they can go to the NBA. Mm-hmm. So that the level of talent that is opting to try to go pro is now. Do I think necessarily those players should go back to college? I think I know there's a lot of debate around that. I'm like,
yeah, a little strange.
I mean, hey, if you're getting your degree, sure, go back, play.
But just think, Grant Hill, Tim Duncan, they both stayed 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they would come out after their freshman year.
Did Jordan stay 4 years?
Jordan stayed 3.
Think
about it, came out after his freshman year.
I think a fair compromise would be 2 years.
So do I.
I think that would be.
I mean, on the player side, if I'm not going top 15 in the lottery, what's the real incentive to come out? I can make a couple mil in college now and stay another year and make a couple mil and not have to go to the play in the G League. I can play significant ball. If I'm not going to be a top 15 pick and I'm a freshman, what's the incentive?
I don't know. G League contract's pretty good. If you think about it, for that, like it's it's 6 figures still. I mean,
yeah, it's 6 figures still.
Hey, if somebody wants to sign me to the G League, I'm available. I'm good for 6 fouls.
6 fouls.
I'm good for 6 fouls. I will play in the G League.
You need somebody for the hacker shot?
Yeah.
Call you up.
Except it'd be a hacky sack because I'm so small. It'd be like getting some people in the ankles and be the ankle biter.
Hey, Lainey, who's your favorite athlete and why?
I saw this question. I was really, really thinking about it earlier. And and I had really trouble kind of narrowing it down. And so I'm going to give you three,
Okay.
but I'm going to rank them. And I'm going by athletic ability, like athlete.
Okay.
Mookie Betts,
Okay.
because I feel like Mookie he's so athletic, and he has proven he can kind of do anything. Pickleball, bowling, outfield, basketball, shortstop,
darts,
yeah,
whatever.
he can do anything. I feel like SGA is another one of those guys that can probably do anything. And then probably Serena Williams. Like in high school and college, I watched a lot of tennis. Like Federer and McEnroe are probably the only like male tennis players that I couldn't even tell you who. I don't pay attention to men's tennis. It's boring. Yep, I said it is boring. I like, to me, Serena and Venus were like two of my favorite athletes when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
And Serena to do it, take a break, have a baby, do it again. I mean, it just, and to be like the GOAT. And then of course you put Simone Biles in there too. I mean, it's just, when it comes to athletic ability and stamina and perseverance in that sport.
Just think about Simone Biles, right? She can jump like 3 times her height in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Off the ground.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
And
with
just
no springboard.
Yeah.
And and I just I just remember loving watching Serena play, and I really hated it when occasionally she and Venus would have to play one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it when they would play doubles.
Mm-hmm.
And watch that. It is just because they were just so unapologetic in the style in which they played too.
Yes.
And they were so effective and so good at it. And I just, don't get me wrong, I know that there are good male tennis players out there, obviously. I mean, I'm not stupid, but I don't, it's not as exciting for me. They didn't capture my interest in except McEnroe and his antics, throwing the racket, throwing a fit.
And the crazy thing about him is that he's doing all that, but if you really get into him, there's a strategy going on.
Oh yeah,
he's not a loose cannon. He's coming across like that so he can make you think that he's all whacked out, but he knew exactly what he was doing when he was doing it.
Oh yeah, he was engaging in the mental game as much as the physical game. Yeah, for him it was absolutely a strategy. And of course you learn that later on. At the time, people just took it at face value before, like, a lot of that mental stuff. Yeah. And then of course from a historical perspective, I would have to say Jim Thorpe, just because again, he's another one of those athletes that not only could do it all, but did do it all. Track, football,
everything.
Ballroom dancing. I mean, if you look at Jim Thorpe's like history and also in the time period in which he competed. So
and then also later in his life, at the age he was doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a young man, and he was, I mean, in today's standards, you would say he was at the top of his game later in life. So yep, I can see all the people you're naming.
Yeah. So, but if I had to come down to one right now, it'd probably go to Mookie, just because he can't. He's another one of those. He can kind of do everything. I don't know how fast he is. I don't know if he'd run it
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just respect athletes a lot. I mean, if you go kind of old school, you can even look at Bruce Lee and kind of his craft and fitness and dedication to not only martial arts as an art, but also as a sport and technique and mastering it. And so those are all people I feel that are kind of really mastering the sport, or that they're Not that every professional athlete doesn't do that, or even student athlete, or little, but just the dedication that they put and the passion and that they enjoy it. Like you could look at Alyssa Liu right now with figure skating. She found the joy again in skating and competing. And I watched her performance and I was just like, she's having so much fun out there. The performance that won her the gold medal. And I think there's that kind of joy that athletes bring to, even if they're sweating and they're frustrated and they're struggling, you can see who like love it and like, have joy in it and what they do. And so I appreciate
But
that.
even though I love it, even going back to Bruce Lee, I mean, he wrote books on the way of life when it came to martial arts. This wasn't just the 3-inch punch and a certain speed to my kick. This is a way of how you live. So, yeah, it gets much deeper. And when we talk about these levels of getting into your craft, then when I turn the barometer over to what we see today, for the most part, a lot of times I'm at a loss. Because you're talking about football. We were talking about football cards earlier. You look at the NFL, you watch a game, you see receivers not really running routes. You see offensive linemen getting destroyed in the Super Bowl, like literally getting destroyed in the Super Bowl, and you play offensive line. You just see a lot of stuff that the game has changed some, and I know that it will never go back to what we saw before. So then you pick your SGAs, you pick your people out that it's a throwback. How they approach the thing, the consistency. We were talking about staying even key. All that's like a throwback. It's like, you watch somebody in the 80s, for me in the 80s and 90s. My father would say in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Like, what are you looking at? So when you find those players is when I find joy in modern sports.
Right. You think about the greats now. You don't see the work that they put in. They're not putting it on, on Instagram. Like we joke every summer that right on time you're gonna get a video of Luka in shape, Luka running, and Luka, doing something like clockwork. You never see that from an SGA. You don't see those type of things from a Jokic, right? You don't see the work they put in. They just put in work and trying to be MVP and trying to win championships. They don't need the hype cycle to go for them to be motivated.
They really want to avoid it. Go ahead, Lainey.
No, I'm sorry. I was just thinking, and then also think about, if you think about some of the greats and some of the older, players, from the past, like I couldn't tell you about what Deion Sanders stats were. I just know he was fun to watch. Like Neon Deion, just the whole. And I think he's a tremendous coach. I think he's actually a really good coach, which surprised me because, it's like, arrogant,
That's two people now. He's going to show you prime.
He's going to show you prime.
He knows he's somebody else, but he can't show you that. But he'll show the kids that when he's coaching them.
Yeah. And I've seen some of his pep talks to his team and stuff. And I was like, he's teaching them life lessons and values and not only how to play the game, but how to live and ways to live that. Yeah, you're going to see the show, you're going to see prime time and all that stuff. But, and I'll admit it surprised me. I was like, Deion Sanders, Colorado hired Deion of all people. And then, proved me wrong. I was like, oh, there's and I learned more about him and watching it, and it's just been so much fun to see and how he's turned that program around, their mindset around, and that it's okay to be confident. And I know that Shedeur has had some struggles. He's had some struggles, but I can't help but root for him. I know that, but I think he got humbled during the draft a little bit, but now he has an opportunity to prove folks wrong. So,
but see, that's a prime example though. We come to the combine and we're talking to teams, and he's probably sitting on a trust and other investments. He's like, you show me why I should play for you. And people look at that and be like, man, this dude's not humble at all. But he has no intention of coming in here and being humble because he doesn't need to, in his mind, be on that level because I'm interviewing you. And I think the NFL, NBA, there's going to be a lot of teams going forward who have been traditionally trash, like the Cleveland Browns. And you're going to have top talent come in and fold their arms and ask you some questions.
Well, it's kind of interesting when you say like historically bad teams, and like you think of the Cleveland Browns, and there's certain teams that you think of, and like at what point do those organizations, when do they become reflective and look at how they're doing things? And because if that is the external perception of your team, even amongst some of your fans, like, it's painful to be a Browns fan or this fan or, whatever, of whatever franchise it happens to be, whether it's the Marlins, or whoever, or the White Sox. I'm sorry, FT, or the White Sox.
No, you're right.
No, you're fine. We know.
A long time ago. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, then, and I look at the Colorado Rockies, for example, like they put zero investment into their roster and team. And so, and what I think a lot of these general managers should do, and this is a homer statement, is they need to study what Sam Presti is doing. Because Sam Presti is patient, that is also gifted with a patient ownership group, who wants to build something.
But also cut his teeth with the Spurs.
Yeah.
Learned, probably came in and told people about this is what I have seen and how can we recreate that here? And you happen to bring in a dude like Shea, who almost every player in the interview says he's busting his butt in practice. He is on time. He is staying late. And he's looking at people and expecting everybody else to do. So now you start combining these cultural traits. Before you know it, you have what we see.
And you notice that people that don't fit within that culture, or what, also because Oklahoma City takes the team and its place in the community is very seriously. I don't know if you know this, but every single player that comes into, or staff member that comes into the Oklahoma City Thunder organization visits the Oklahoma City National Memorial, the bombing memorial.
I didn't know that.
Did not know that.
Every single one. Even Jared McCain recently with Sam Presti went to the Oklahoma City Memorial. And if you've never been to the Oklahoma City National Memorial, check it out online. If you go through Oklahoma City, go visit it. And it's a moving thing. And it also, again, teaches us about, it's just a very strong life lesson about the world. And it kind of defines so much about why that team and that community is so important there. There are a lot of things that frustrate me about my home state, don't get me wrong, but that enduring moment in time of how that impacted the state as a whole, and particularly the city. And there's this wonderful photo from the parade, of where you see the parade truck in front of the memorial, and you see, I think it's SGA, he's got his hands up like this, because that was like the darkest moment in the city's history, if not the state's history, and one of the darkest moments in American history, to see this moment of triumph and joy and the community coming together in that moment to celebrate the team, which means no matter political affiliation, ethnic group, racial affiliation, everyone rallies behind that team. And it's a point of commonality for the state of Oklahoma, which is what I think is so strong about sports in general. But it's such, I want that scene on a card. I want a Tops Now card of that. I want, and because it's such a powerful moment. I'll see if I can find it, and you can put it in the notes, and we'll link to it, because it's such a powerful, like, of the struggle that the Oklahoma City went through after that. But every staff member goes to the Oklahoma City Memorial and through the museum to really understand the community and why and how the team integrates into the community, and why it's so important to kind of be drama free. You notice that Giddy didn't last very long
Right.
after his stumble. Whether it was justified or not, I don't know the story. I'm not going to say one way or another, but there just wasn't going to be any kind of those questions around what the team was about and what it means to the city. Like, you can't, basically no behavioral issues. That's why the team is drama free, is because I know that leadership group. I used to work for one of the owners, for one of the company that he was the CEO of. And so, like, we knew, this is what this organization is going to be about, and how it's going to be not just for something for people in the city to go to do from, but to be an active member of the community. And that's really important. It's a small market, so you kind of have to take that approach, but that's why the fans are so loyal. I mean,
I get it.
It's good leadership.
Yeah.
And actually caring, you can't ask the people of the city to care about your team, and you show no caring about the city. And that's what a lot of big cities get wrong. And
which is like my big terror, is that somebody manages to lure Sam Presti away someday. And I don't want to. I'm glad the Lakers figured something else out, because with the Dodgers and having the members of the Dodger organization come in to help the Lakers, because I was like, man, I hope they don't start eyeing, or some of these bigger markets start eyeing Sam Presti. Not that I necessarily think he would go, but I mean, sometimes opportunity and money also, like, to opportunity to do it again. It might be attractive. I don't know Sam Presti, but please, Sam, don't ever leave.
I would hope not to.
When it comes to that. So it's just, and that's why I think, Oklahoma City is so it's such a tight, that the culture that they've created is just really strong. And I believe it is an organization that really wants to do things the right way. And I know at least one person personally who works within that organization. I just think the world of him. So,
I've been there twice. I've been right where the basketball stadium is, in that, like, shopping area. Back then, I was still eating meat, so I had some of the best barbecue.
Oh yeah, there's some good barbecue down there. There's Mickey Mantle's Steakhouse, which is really good if you like good steak. It's right there across from the baseball field.
Yeah.
And so there's some better food further out into the bubble, the urban core of Oklahoma City.
Well, I've been to the urban core. I went to a barbecue spot that was off the chain. This is 2012, people. 2012, but it was amazing. Big Jon, amazing.
I believe that. Listen, one thing you see me, the snow has melted. The boy has been on the grill already. First day, snow melted. We can open this thing back up. I've been eyeing them new smokers. Listen, when you're talking about barbecue and getting grilling, I'm your man.
Well, I love it when I stumble across places here in Southern California that are transplants from Texas or Tennessee or something, depending on what kind of barbecue you like. Is that I found some good spots here. There's one here in my local town that their pulled pork is good. They have pulled chicken, but they don't have brisket, which kind of confuses me. But I found this one place that it's kind of this roving place, but they don't pop up very often.
Mhm.
That is Texas Underground Barbecue. Definitely the best brisket I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
I found it here in Southern California, but it was from somebody from Texas who was doing it.
Yeah.
All right.
As you found.
I love some barbecue, so
What's up, Big Jon?
I want a barbecue so bad. I gotta get me a new barbecue grill.
One of our good friends, they got a smoker at Christmas, and we said we will buy the meat. And they're originally from Oklahoma. We actually found some other Oklahoma transplants that as well, and so we commiserate about the things that we miss from Oklahoma, and sometimes about the things that we don't miss, which is the weather, for sure. I think they had a pretty significant tornado warning tonight, and
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, it's
Time of year. Yeah.
yeah, it's getting to be that time of season. I need to check on my dad later, but if anything had happened, he would have texted me. So, but that yeah, as a matter of fact, he went to eat barbecue tonight with some friends at a place called Bad Brad's in Yukon, Oklahoma.
Has he been there before?
Oh yeah, my dad's been there. My dad's back in Oklahoma now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Some of the best barbecue I've had has been in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best food I've had has been in Vegas at Wolfgang Puck's.
Oh, really? Yeah. You've been there once.
It was delicious.
I had some sort of Asian fusion dish there. It was really good. I can't remember what it was. I was there for a conference.
Yeah, I was there for a conference and I had everything. I don't know what. Every table had food on it, and I had plates.
So, FD, you said that you don't eat meat anymore. What's your go-to substitute then?
I mean, I eat tofu. I eat different. I can eat an Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, black bean burger. I like different forms of fish and seafood.
Nice.
And I've been trying. Big Jon, I changed my diet last June, but the last 3 weeks I've really been going back hard on more protein and less of almost anything else. So a lot of protein-filled meals. I eat a pretty good amount of eggs. Yeah, that's where I'm at. You got to think 1 egg, 70 calories, crazy amount of protein. But that's kind of where I'm at. But trying to eat a lot less other stuff and more protein.
I've got a family member who's vegan, and I'm always fascinated, and she's great about adapting to wherever we go, or whatever. And but some of the creativity that she comes up, because she will also create some amazing dishes for us, and we are always very appreciative.
Yeah.
One, with her flexibility when we go out to eat, and then as a family, but also some of the things that I never even would have thought to put together that is protein rich and still filling. So she's definitely got it down.
Yeah, you kind of have to be creative in order for it to be fun and not become a chore, and then it becomes something you want to avoid. And then the fact that you all can go anywhere. I try to be like that, where I could go anywhere with anyone and make that menu, adjust, do whatever I need to do to make it suit me. And I'm not just me personally. I'm not talking about anybody else. I am not, you might not even know that I have a different diet if you were sitting there with me. Like, I'm not really hooting and hollering about it. Oh, you eating that? Why are you eating that? I'm not doing
that. Yeah. As long as it's not raw tomatoes, I'm eating everything. So, the list of things I don't eat is very short. But I enjoy going out finding places. Me and my wife, she gets mad at me when I eat without her. I have to explain to her, I'm a food scout. And you go eat it first. I make sure you like it when I bring you to it. Mm-hmm. Because she will look at the menu for weeks ahead of time. If I tell her we're going somewhere, and figure out and have a mindset what she want to eat. And if it's not good, this whole day is all messed up. So like, I'm gonna go scout it first.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, you ain't gonna like it. So that's how I get around it.
So, well, there you go. So, like, I
She's
try.
like, where'd you find this spot at? Listen, don't worry about all that. Trust
right.
me, it's gonna be good.
So I used to have a challenge with some friends and stuff. Like sometimes we would just like pick some random new place. Like we don't know what we're getting into, but we're going to try it anyway. And of course, we had to keep it within the commuting distance of the office. But we really got into where we were trying a bunch of different pho places.
Oh, okay.
And figuring out which ones that we liked best. And, there were new restaurants popping up all the time. So we would try out things. I think it just gets expensive after a while. So you just kind of narrow it down to what you like best.
Lenny, I want to ask you about Pokemon.
Okay.
It's midnight here. I got an early morning tomorrow, so I got to cut out. But Lenny, thank you. We got to have you on again when I have more time. I want to get a Pokemon too, but I need to go to bed for work tomorrow.
Go ahead, sir.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, sir. A few more questions.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Peace out.
Hey, John.
John. Pokemon. Now I know you buy Pokemon cards.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's my daughter's influence. We're big EV evolutions and Charizard fans, and I like Charizard just because he's a big orange dragon, really, But I've been kind of keeping an eye on it for sure, especially some of the older stuff. And I love Topps Chrome, and there are some old Topps Chrome Pokemon cards out there. And so I've been looking at adding one of those to my collection because, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about the various storylines and why Bulbasaur is more important than XYZ
I couldn't either. Yeah, I couldn't either.
But it was one of the things that I love about Pokemon and one, it helped bring me back into the hobby, but two, it was something I was able to do and share with my daughter. When she was younger, she's older now. She's a teenager, but she still likes Pokemon. She's not as quite as enthusiastic about it as she, but if I go into a room and say, hey, you want to get rid of these, right? And she'll be like, no, why would you think that? And then, when I can still get her to go to a show with me, she usually finds something that, some character, I have no idea. She's also still very knowledgeable about Pokemon. At one point, she was a little Pokemon walking encyclopedia that she could, those books, those books, she could tell you pretty much anything you wanted to know about those characters, she and her friends. And it was a really fun way to watch them connect. And my dad had sent us a box he had finally run across various boxes of Pokemon. He sent it to us for Christmas. It was over the pandemic when Pokemon was disappearing, but he hit the jackpot one day in a random restock at Walmart.
Okay.
And he bought up every kind of box configuration they have and sent it to us. And in that was there were a bunch of them. So we kind of took our time opening various of the boxes. And I think one of them, the Champion's Path, had been in there for about a year before, maybe not a year, but several months before we finally opened it.
Okay.
And that is when everybody was chasing that rainbow Charizard. And sure enough, we pulled one. It was one of the most exciting core memory moments of our lives. And at that time, that card raw was selling for like $500, $400 or $500. And we decided eventually to get it graded. It got a 10. Still have that card to this day. It's probably the most important Pokemon card in our collection, just because it's something that we shared together as a family, that we did together. And one of the first cards I ever graded, as a matter of fact.
Very cool.
Very cool. And can't believe we pulled it. We were like, that thing was sitting in that closet for months, just 6 packs of Champion's Path and something else. It was kind of one of those not a blister pack, but one of those boxes where you get 6 packs and a big card or whatever. I can't remember else what is in it, but yeah, been learning more about the market than anything. I know that it's continued to be insane for sure.
Well, we still have this Blooming Waters that we haven't.
Oh wow, yeah, the 151.
Yeah. Junior's telling me every week that we need to get in that. So we may open that this weekend, but we've been holding on to this thing for a while.
Yeah, I know that some people are concerned about a bubble, but
And that's what I wanted to ask you about. Go ahead.
and I think, of course, like anything, that there's a risk. Like there's so many things in cards in general, I feel like are really high right now.
Yeah, so do I.
Then you're getting a lot of. I don't know how much I'm convinced that people with big money are seeing cards as truly an alternative asset class.
Mm.
I'm not enough of an expert to know that. But what we can see is people spending a lot of money on, like, big time money on some cards, right?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
enhances the exposure of the hobby. And so I think now you've got millennials with money
Mm-hmm.
who are like, oh, I'm going to get back into it. Or I had those. And of course, everybody has their story of my mom threw away my Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
I feel for those folks. But I've been wondering beyond what's going to sustain that long term. Because if you think about now, like is there a new cartoon out? I don't know. That this is where I'd need somebody younger. Maybe your son can tell us. Like, is there a new? I know that there's this new kind of evolution, but are the games still going strong? Are the tournaments still going strong? Because I think that will kind of really determine the long term. I think that will it continue to go higher? Maybe. For some of the older things, like some of the vintage stuff, I think is where people are going to kind of circle back around.
See, that's what I think as well.
The vintage. I think that because it's just maybe the print runs are shorter. Maybe people didn't think about taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've gone through my daughter's collection and pulled out everything that was like within like the first maybe 5 years of Pokemon, and even if it was a base common, like I've put those aside up to a certain point, because honestly, it's kind of hard to keep track of. Like
it is for me.
Yeah, they come out with a new set. Like I swear it feels like every 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe that's not the case, but it feels like it. But it's still very strong. It's overwhelming for me when I go to a show, though, that is dominated by TCG and Pokemon, because a lot of the vendors look the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
Same cards, around the same pricing. Like, what's the sales pitch for me to buy from vendor A versus vendor B? Like,
well, it's similar to that when you talk about sports cards.
Yeah.
You go to every table, you see Josh Allen, you see Justin Herbert, you see Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I go past the football tables.
I look for. You see LaMelo Ball, you see Anthony.
Which is interesting. So two things. Mm-hmm. When I was at the West Coast Card Show, I'm convinced this was the only copy of this card.
I didn't see a lot of that. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of Shea, but I didn't see a lot of. I didn't see that card at all.
Like, and some of the, like, even some of the, and which surprised me, because I thought, oh, surely I'll finally be able to pick up this card. I'm convinced this was the only copy at the West Coast Card Show, and I ended up with it.
I can see that, because when I came the day, you came on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I was there the whole time, but I didn't set up until Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I walked Saturday, and I had a keen eye for Steph Curry and Shea, and I saw very little.
Yeah. At trade night, I saw some big Steph Curry, a couple of them. And then that was like where I actually saw bigger Shohei Ohtani at trade nights than I did necessarily, because I was looking for Cosmic on the floor, and only a couple people had Cosmic. And then you'd kind of see it sporadically because
Mhm.
Cosmic's my favorite baseball set. Um, and I'm looking forward to licensed NBA Cosmic for sure.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'm like if Shea doesn't have a Planetary Pursuit, I'm gonna be mad.
Mhm.
Because he didn't in the first unlicensed set. But yeah, yeah, some of the things. So when I go to a Pokemon table, one half the time I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But I just kind of zero in on the characters that I know are important to us. And then what I have learned, because I have some friends that are great at Pokemon, they know the market, and so I've been asking them about it, and that certain artists are bigger, like a bigger deal than others, and are really popular. So people will oftentimes gravitate towards those cards because of the artist, the Japanese artist that was. What I would love to find is one of those cards that has the doodle and the signature from the artist.
Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
I know those are kind of really big money, but to me, that's a little bit more unique and probably rare than an illustrator card sold by one of the Paul brothers
Mhm.
in a PSA 10. Like, yeah, that's great, but if I really want that card in my collection, I'm okay with a PSA 1, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and maybe we'll buy that. Which I looked at that card, and no offense to Pokemon folks, but I was like, this is kind of an ugly card. But maybe the artist, or maybe because it was the only PSA 10. I don't know. But to me, aesthetics, like, you have to like what you're looking at.
I
And
agree.
and if that brings someone joy who spent all that money on it, great. What I'm into is not going to be what somebody else is into, and vice versa. So um but and that's okay. So when it comes to Pokemon right now, I think there's just so much out there. Is just definitely focus on the characters or the artist or the set you like. Like, there's some of the sets, like, I've seen some of the art that I was like, I like that card. There's this one card with Charizard that it's a full art card. I got it in a PSA 8. This is a cheap card. It was like a $20 card.
Mhm.
But I got it because I liked it, because it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. And I like the cards with more than one Pokemon on it. There's this one with it was a promo card with Pikachu and a bunch of the other characters. That card is shot up. I like things that mash up. So I definitely love the Van Gogh Pokemon card. And I think they're going to do a natural history museum one. And like, I kind of want the Pikachu with the McDonald's, like, he's eating the Happy Meal on it.
Mhm.
That's why I love Detective Pikachu. And then there's like, I love things that are mashups, and like, they're like, God help me if they do a Pokemon Star Wars crossover, then I'm in trouble. So, because I'll want to spend my money on that.
So that Pikachu eating McDonald's, is that card out?
There are a couple of them out, I think, or maybe it was just the promo picture that I've
Oh, I
seen.
see. I see one. I see some stuff here on eBay.
Yeah, and I thought that kind of made me laugh, and
Oh
so
yeah, this is yeah, got the burger.
yeah, and then yeah, with the burger, I was like, I like stuff like that.
That's cool.
And I know that the Van Gogh one, that there are a lot of them out there. Like, the pop count on it is really, really high, but I love mashups. I mean, you have Vincent Van Gogh and Pikachu on the same card in one of the kind of an homage to the art of old, and I just think that's cool. Because there's a Picasso mashup one too with Psyduck. Man, I'm really pulling out my Pokemon knowledge right now.
I mean, you're getting deep right now.
I mean, that's a pretty much the extent that I have. I did at one point try to get my daughter really into playing the game, because when I saw how much scholarship money that some of these young kids are getting in Pokemon tournaments, it's significant. It is. I was like, oh wow.
I need to go to one of those one day. I want to go to like a big Pokemon event. I've never been to that. I know they have them periodically. There was one recently. I want to say in Pasadena. but I didn't go to that. So.
What I really like and is fun to see is that the Pokemon Go, because it gets people kind of out of their house and do, they might still be on their phone or whatever, but it kind of gets them out. And there are Pokemon where I am. There are Pokemon Go clubs kind of around me.
Okay.
And so on Saturdays, they have this whole banner thing, and they'll set up a little spot, and then you'll see everyone in the little downtown area, going and catching Pokemon. And they have these little mini kind of pop-up events of just people who are Pokemon Go enthusiasts.
Have you ever done Pokemon Go?
I have not.
I have not either. I haven't. I would try. I haven't.
My sister-in-law is big on Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny. And for a while, my daughter was doing it as well. And occasionally she'll still do it. She'll be like, "Hey, let's see if there are any." And I remember at the time that so many like companies and brands were getting involved. Like they wanted to have their own Pokemon Go spot, the geofencing and stuff around that. But I like those cards, the Pokemon Go set.
Yeah.
I picked up a bunch of those because I just felt it was like such a cultural moment,
Okay.
in my opinion. Or at least it was one that was important to me, so I picked up some of those.
Jordan here says, so expensive, Cosmic going to be about $1,000 per box.
I know. I'll probably never get to open a box. I keep trying to get Cosmic Baseball, but I keep not winning in the EQL drops for sure. But you're right, Cosmic is going to be. And then the Oklahoma City spot's going to be like, if I got into a break, the Oklahoma City spot's going to be expensive.
Yep. Well, one of my last questions: how many shows do you usually go to?
Well, I go to every.
I've been going to less myself, so.
I go to every West Coast card show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Try to hit one, just because they're fun for me. About once a month. I went to It wasn't this last weekend. It was the weekend before. I went to the regional card show, which, I know the organizer for that one. But I always go late. It seems like I can't ever get my life together in time, and I end up at the show late. But I always find something. What did I
cool about the show? Yeah.
I like that. And then I hadn't been to the Front Row card show in a while, but I went to this last one in Pasadena, and I had actually a really good time.
Yeah. Good show.
It was a good show. I found some unique things. It had a good mix of TCG and sport. I think that organizer's been really mindful about having a greater balance. Because usually when I go, I'm looking for Star Wars, Disney, and sports. So, and very specific Disney ones. So, but it's nice that show. So I would say on average once a month. Sometimes, if life gets crazy, I get to go to more than one. But I've never been to the Nashville. It's kind of on the bucket list. I'd like to go to the Dallas card show. I just don't know when and how.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Dallas too. I haven't been there.
I'd like to make that happen. And then
that's a great show, though. The Nashville is. If you're looking for something, I always tell people this, and I've heard the same thing about Dallas. If you're looking for something in particular, I'm sure you will find it at the Dallas show or the National, either or.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
every type of card that you can imagine is somewhere at the National.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. I do like going through value boxes, but sometimes if I have a short period of time, I skip it and head to and just look at people's cases. Depending on what I'm looking for. Like there's a Cosmic of Otani that I was hoping to use my other Cosmic of Otani to trade for, but then I couldn't find the one that I wanted. So
I'll keep a lookout for stuff like that. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of them online. I was just like, I have a Planetary Pursuit of Otani from the first year of Cosmic that I want, and it's in a PSA 10, but I want to get him in a Dodger uniform. So
I get it. I ran into a lot of people who have said that. I would rather have a card of him in a Dodger uniform than an Angels uniform.
Yeah, I've got my rookies of Otani already, so now it's kind of like, and I
It's kind
have
of like you. Like you wouldn't want a Shea car in a Clippers uniform, would
only his rookie.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a really cool game used patch or something.
Yeah.
But we did finally pick up an Otani auto right before the World Series, which turned out to be great timing.
Oh, that's wonderful timing because I was looking at his pricing the other day. It's great. That's a great find.
Yeah, and we did it then because I was like, and it was a significant purchase, so we had to discuss it as a family from a like, is this because that card we consider to be an investment.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'd like to have one in our collection. I feel like now might be the last chance we get to do it before it becomes unattainable for us of what I'd be willing to spend. It doesn't matter if I won the lottery tomorrow, I still have, at least in my mind, I still have a limit of how much I would ever spend for a card,
Okay.
for a single card, because I'm like, $10,000, I can go on vacation for a week to like Europe.
Or in 5 years, you could go on 20 vacations.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that which was true, but then I wouldn't have the card if I sold it. So I kind of have to like, balance it that way. But it's definitely the most expensive card we have now, our most valuable card.
And then I just wonder, like Big Jon and I were talking the other day, where is this Otani market going? Because the WBC is just happening. And if he comes out and has another MVP level or MVP season, he's going to start getting in the Jordan zone.
Okay, I'm going to say something kind of a hot take. I love Otani. I think everybody should have some sort of Otani card in their collection because he's literally probably the best baseball player of all time, right?
Yeah.
And but let's not get stupid about refractors going for $600. I don't care if it's a PSA 10.
I get you.
I'm not, and I'm calling out. I saw a card on eBay that was listed for $599. Cosmic refractor, PSA 10. Now I get there are not that many refractors in Cosmic, but they were asking $600 for it. I'm like, come on, people.
But I hear you. But that wave. And if these autos are going at this price, and this Topps Chrome is going at this price, and this Bowman is going at this price, and now Big Jon now for a whole segment of the show last week, second year stuff.
Yeah.
Is blowing up. Third year stuff.
Yeah, but this is 2025 Cosmic.
No, I get it.
I'm just
that ripple is going to go all the way down. And then people are going to start posting stuff at $600.
Well, like I have that Planetary Pursuit, which is a case hit in a PSA 10. And this person's like asking more than the last sale of that card was in a PSA 10 because I looked. And I was like, okay, that's kind of like, because I feel like in 5 years, I don't feel like that card. I think somebody.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I see the Cosmic Refractor here, Pop 2 for $599.
Yeah.
2025.
I mean, hey, if that seller gets it, hey, more power to them. That just makes my other Otanis that I have worth more, at least for the time being. I mean, sell high, buy low, right? But
I'm with you on that, though. We're talking about a card that's not technically numbered on the card. It's a Pop 2, probably a hard card to grade. But where is that card going?
Like, in 2 years, is it still going to be worth that much?
You're right.
I kind of like
these are the things to think about. You're right.
So like right now, I personally would not spend that much on it. If I'm going to spend $600 on an Otani, I'm going to go after a case hit.
Well, we're talking about prices right now. I brought up, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, that the Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie, 1989, has a 4,200, I think 35 pop. The card is $4,000. And then I asked the question.
I got to look at I have 2 Ken Griffey rookies. I got to go back and look at them.
So, but I asked the question. There is no other card. Now I'm not talking about Pokemon, but there is no other card in sports that I know that the dollar amount of the card matches the pop of the card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that's almost crazy. This card was under $2,000 for years. Now it's $4,000 or more. And I saw it at the West Coast Card Show, and I was talking to the vendor about it, and he was like, "Man, I can't even believe the price."
Yeah, I mean,
But is that going to be 6,000, 8,000 in 5-6 years? I don't know.
Well,
I
even look at the Star Wars, the Luke Skywalker rookie, the Mark Hamill, like the number one. Even those in Raw are starting to go up just because people are starting to become more aware of the hobby. They get nostalgic. Star Wars is an iconic franchise. Luke Skywalker. Ironically, that's probably the best-selling Luke Skywalker card. That's
True.
not a Mark Hamill auto.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the Luke Skywalker cards, like you would think Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, really strong in the collecting side, and they're not.
So, yeah.
Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Padme, Ahsoka, like, and then Leia and Jabba's palace. Those are going to be the ones that sell strong. Yeah, a couple of them for obvious reasons, but sometimes I rescue those cards. I was like, I was like, I'm going to rescue this card from somebody. But I've sold a couple as well because collectors want that. Because fun fact, like you'll never see a card of Carrie Fisher in the bikini, in the metal, come out in any future Star Wars sets.
No, you won't.
Because her estate is like,
they locked it down. Yeah.
Now, and if people want to know why that is, like Carrie Fisher, like I think had different issues, like complex feelings about that. I think she loved it when guys showed up dressed in the bikini at conventions and stuff. She would get a kick out of that. And if you've never read her book, The Princess Diarist, it's a short read, it's a funny read, and I strongly recommend it to people.
I know it was hard for her to shoot that scene, and it almost did not happen.
Yeah. So, and so that, it's her estate making that decision. And I know a lot of people are like, well, Disney's gone woke. And I was like, no, it's not Disney. It's her estate and her wishes, basically. So to kind of.
And every estate, like we knew there was going to be a Kobe Bryant documentary, and then that Kobe Bryant documentary went away.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are a lot of states. Bruce Lee, his daughter, does certain things to protect her father's image. There are a lot of states that make decisions that, that's not a part of the estate.
Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO, he makes decisions because he's very protective of the C-3PO character. So the goldenrod error, he will not sign that card. And don't walk up at a convention trying to get that card signed, because the way that the story legend goes is he will take it and he will rip it up. The story is that one woman tried to get him to sign that card at a convention, and he ripped it up in front of her face.
And it's just like athletes, like Bo Jackson, the poster where he has the bat and he has the glove, and so he won't sign that. He won't sign that card from Score, and he won't sign those posters. Now, I've been places where there's stuff in the past that he has signed, and prices are high. But there's a lot of stuff out here that.
Well, and did you know the reason? I mean, I learned recently the reason. Maybe you and I talked about this at the West Coast Card Show. Why he won't sign that card is because the photographer who took that image isn't getting credit or financial royalties or something for that image, and so that's why he doesn't sign that card.
And this is Bo Jackson. He also won't sign a Tampa Bay Buccaneers helmet.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they tried to draft him. They told him, we're going to draft you. And that's why he went to play somewhere else, and then came back. But Bo is definitely an individual about conviction. And there's certain things that he will not do, and he's going to be consistent with that.
Which, it's kind of a bummer that photographer didn't get paid for that, because it's an iconic photo.
Sure.
And I totally understand why people would want his signature. On that for sure, because it is, it's an iconic photo. Like everybody knows that card. And there are a lot of them out there, but everybody knows that card, right? So
very true. Lainey, you know, I don't want to keep you really late. It's been a pleasure having you on. Big Jon and I both have wanted you on here for a long time. We want you to come back, spend time with us in the future. It's a great conversation. This is the same, very similar conversation, people, that we had at the West Coast Card Show. It was great talking to you, Iche, and getting to know you more. I love your knowledge on sports, life, everything in between, and the vast conversations that we have had today is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. You know, next time we'll just have to go and sit at the show and get a cup of coffee and just
oh yeah
chat, because I've enjoyed
we'll
it.
link up on the next one. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see you and hang out. Yeah,
take your show on the road.
That's right. I would love. This is what I would love to do. I would love to walk a show with you as part of.
Oh, that would be fun.
Together and see how we're engaged and what we're seeing at the show.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
Like my favorite content because it's organic.
Yeah, and then like we can play good cop, bad cop with
I love that.
Okay, with the vendors, and I'll be bad cop. You be good cop.
Yeah.
Everyone expects me to be nice and be the good cop because
because you naturally have a nice demeanor. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Sometimes I got to be mean just to shake it up a little bit.
I think we all do. Sometimes I'll flip the switch right in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, well, I try not to, but for sure. Well, FD, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on. And
thank you. Tell your family we say hello. Thank you for the time that you were able to give us.
All right, I appreciate it. You have a great evening, and I look forward to talking again.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.